Hi there, Cheryl here, and today I'm going to do something a little different. I usually start out, I have a whole pile of things here on my table in front of me, but today all I have is this card, and what a card it is. Look at this. This opens up here, and it's got a little step out. So, what I wanted to do is to share with you how this card started out, the inspiration for this card, how it evolved as I went along. And I think it might be very helpful to some of you as you're designing your own cards, or if you're a beginner and just don't know where to start. Like I said, the inspiration for this card actually came from this lovely pattern paper pack that I got. Let me bring that in and I'll show you this paper. I gotta slide it out here. There's a bunch of other stuff that I don't need for this card. My tables are just packed. But it's called Lavender Bliss. And it's a 12 by 12 paper pad, and it's got a lovely a lavender and kind of a yellowy color, the basic colors in this, and it's just so many times the lavenders are very childlike, but that's not the case. This is very sophisticated. Yeah, sophisticated. And this is the paper right here. Yeah, it's very thick cardstock. This piece right here is the one that inspired me. So I knew I wanted to use this. Since I'm not shaping any flowers or anything, I feel like I'm cheating. I wanted to do a little special fold for the card. But this is my inspiration. And then from that same paper pack, I picked out these two other papers to go with it. And then I used the thick, very vanilla cardstock to use on my card base, because white would have just been too stark and bright for this card. So let's start out. So, like I said, I wanted to do something a little different with the card. So, I knew I wanted my card to be a 5 by 7. So, with my cardstock, I have a couple pieces of the 8.5 by 11 inch cardstock here. The heavy vanilla, very vanilla thick. That's what it is. And so, I want to cut pieces here that are 10 by 7. So when we fold it, we get the 5 by 7 card. So I'm going to need to swing my arm out here, maybe. Well, no, I do. Because I need to cut 7 inches. So, get that up there. And use my cutting blade, because the scoring blade doesn't cut very well. And line that up with 10, so that's one piece. That's 10 by 7. And I'll use this for this back part here. So I'll score that while I have it here at 5 inches. And use the scoring blade, and since it's the thick cardstock, I like to flip it over. I like to score it both sides. Okay, and we'll fold that. Try to get my little edges here lined up. Even though you score it, sometimes those edges just don't want to line up right. Oh, let me use a bone folder. I have a bone folder, I might as well use it. Okay, so another piece we need to cut this also at 10 by 7. I always cut up towards the guide thing at the top here. That way, if you're cutting this way, you might pull your paper down and move it around. And we don't want that. See, this way I cut up and it presses it against this. So now I have another piece, 10 by 7. This one I'm going to score at 5 inches. And I'll flip that over and score it again at 5 inches. Okay, and then we're going to score again. I'm going to just turn it around because this is easier for me. I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to score it from the other end at 2.5 inches. So 2.5. I'm going to flip it over. Score it again at 2.5. Okay, so now this will get folded like so. And then where we scored at 2.5 inches, it will get folded like this. Okay, then these are going to get glued together like this. So that it sits like, see, it's got the back one to help stand it up, and then it's got a little step here in the front. So let me do that. Let me get some glue on there. I'm going to use my art glitter or Dries Clear. Tombow would be a good, you know what, actually Tombow would be a better choice in case I have to adjust where this is going. So let me get my Tombow out. I think I'm just about the end of my Tombow bottle, so maybe it'll get us through this video. I always keep a spare around, so if I have to, I can always get that out. So, and I just stand it up like this, and there we go. So we have that part. Then I want it like a card within a card. I wanted a nice portion of my pattern paper on the side here. So I'm going to leave, let's see, what did I leave there on my original? I left 1.5 inches on each side, so I could get a nice look at my pattern paper. So I cut the interior card 4 inches wide, and then one leg of it is 5 inches, the other leg is 4 inches. So I need a 9 by 4 inch piece of, another piece of paper from the Very Vanilla. So I will cut that at 4 by 9. Line that up. Get the scoring blade out of the way. So 4 inches. I will turn it and cut this at 9 now. Okay. Now, this will get scored at 5 inches, because that's what we want the back of the card to be. Or so you would think. And I'm going to show you what I ran into just as soon as I score this again. I want to score that again on the back. Okay, so I folded this up, and so far you think so good, right? Because this card is 5 inches. But when I put it down inside, oh, now this one works a lot better. On my original, I had to actually trim just a tiny little bit off here on the 5 inches so that it lined up at the top, because of the way it sat down inside the card here, this base. So we're moving right along. We've got our base already made. So I have a piece here left over. I'm going to keep that. Actually, I'm going to keep all my little scraps from this. Okay, so now we have to start decorating. So back to my pattern paper. Okay, on this pattern paper, I just loved these leaves and these little feathery things. So that's what I wanted to have on either side of my card, like right here and right here. So I know I need a piece that's just a little over 2 inches. 2 inches? Was it 2 inches? I don't know now. 1.5 inches. So I'm going to cut an extra 1/4 of an inch. So I need 2 pieces that are 1 3/4, and I'm going to cut it just shy of 5 inches, just an 1/8 inch short of 5 inches. So there will be a tiny little border around there. But let me first cut this. So 1 3/4 inches is what I want. And a nice little strip here. Get that all lined up. And cut that. Okay, so we're good on this one, because this one is going to end up, let's see, so 5, 4 7/8 is what we want there. So that would be perfect. That's going to be perfect. So we'll cut that piece. And that will go on one side. Now we have this piece. I don't want this bit here. That's not very nice. So I'm going to trim that off. Yeah, I know I have plenty of it. Okay, so I'm just going to trim that little bit off the top. I want the leaf to go like right up to the top. Okay. So now I need to turn it around, and I'm going to trim off of the bottom here, because that's not quite so interesting. All of this is very interesting. That not so much. So 4 1/8 we need. Okay. So let me glue those down. Take that piece out. Flatten that out. We'll use our Tombow. And like so many of these double-sided pattern papers, I almost wish they would just do them one-sided, because the back of this is just as pretty, is so pretty. Alright, so we'll line that up. We want that 1/8 of an inch, or 1/16 of an inch in from the edge. Just a tiny little border. Oop. So again on this side, just that little 1/16 of an inch showing. And then it has it up above the crease here, so that when we fold it back up, it's not going to interfere with our folding. Now I noticed on when I was looking at my card that I could see this bit here, and I can see this bit here, and I didn't put anything on this bit, but I'm going to on here. I'm going to use this dark paper right here. So I'm going to cut myself 2 pieces. Now this is 7 by 2.5. So I'm going to cut it just an 1/8 inch shy of 7 and 2.5. So let me cut myself 2 2.5 inch strips. Not 2.5. 2 3/8 inch strips. There's 1. 2 3/8 again. And then we want 6 7/8 of an inch. Oh, get out of there, a little bit of paper. And we'll do this one also. So 6 7/8. Bring this back in. And glue that in place. Again, we'll line that up nice and neatly. Just our little bit of paper showing, or very vanilla showing around the edge. And now this goes inside here, right here. There we go. And we've got this bit pretty well finished now. Except for this. That would be so terrible, wouldn't it? Let me see. I'll bring my paper back in here. And let's see what I have left here, that beautiful border. Let's see. Oh, this is pretty. This is pretty right here. So I'm going to cut myself a 2 and not 2.5, but 2 3/8 inch strip here by 6 7/8. Just the same as we did that other paper. So let's see. So 2 3/8 by 6 7/8. I'm just going to bring my thing down here. It has a little pointy thing on it so I can see where I'm cutting to. And I'm right at the 6 7/8 mark. Now I'll turn it over and line this up at 6 7/8. And I'll cut this down to, oh, I think I messed up on that one. Let me see. That looked like 2 1/4 on this end. Oh my paper got crooked. So what do you think? Is that going to matter? I think it is. Oh dear. Well, let me pick another bit out here. I think we'll use this bit then. So let me do this again. So 2 3/8. Make sure that's straight this time. by 6 7/8. Turn it over. Line my edge up with 6 7/8, and we will cut down to, see, this is why I cut towards this fence at the top here. Did you see my paper move when I was cutting down? Yeah. See, that's not good. So this is much better. And that's a lovely piece too. I'll keep this other piece. I might use that somewhere else one day. So we'll put that on. And since I'm almost out of time, as my camera only records for so long, I'm going to stop right here and we'll pick up again and start on the card within the card. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to decorate the inside portion of the card. So I wanted a little something inside here. So I went through what I had left over and I chose this bit here. I'm going to use that for my card. And we know this is 5 by 4. So we're going to cut that again, 1/8 inch of a shy of 5 by 4. So let me just cut this. I'm just going to cut this straight down. So 3 7/8. And I want this center section. Let's see. What do I want? I want that leaf, I think. Or that feather there. So let me trim that off right here. And we need that to be 4 7/8 of an inch. So I'll trim that. And now this would be the time that if you're going to stamp a sentiment on this piece before you glue it down. That way if you whoops, then you have another chance. But I'm just going to put, this is repositionable tape. The company Daubers makes this. So I'm just going to put it on with repositionable tape because I don't know what sentiment I want on there yet. So I'll put that there. Look how pretty that is. Oh, I love this paper. Okay, so now we'll work on the front of this card. And I want it this darker lavender or lilac, whatever color you want to call that. I wanted that on the inside, and then I want the lighter, a layer of the lighter. And I want a nice little border of this around this piece here. So we know this piece, this section right here is 4 by 4. So again, we're going to cut that 1/8 of an inch shy. So 3 7/8 by 3 7/8 we'll be cutting this piece. Okay, so I have that one, and I'm just going to put it on my card here and make sure that I did it right, because you never know, right? Okay, so that's good. And then this one, I want a 1/4 inch smaller all the way around. I want a 1/4 inch of this showing. So let's see. We had that was 3 7/8, so we're going to go down 1/4 and then another 1/4. So it's 3 3/8 by 3 3/8. I know I have a funny way of doing this, don't I? So 3 3/8. I think I put that on the right place. Let's see. So we'll do a dry fit on this also. I wanted to distress these. So I'm going to take a pair of scissors. And I could have torn it, but I didn't want it that messy. I'm just going to distress it on the edges. Just scrape it with my scissors real good. Give it a good scraping. And on this piece, I'm going to tear out some little bits. Just around different places on the edges. Kind of random. And maybe 2 down here. And 1. Okay, so you don't want them all exactly the same. We're going to continue. We're going to distress the edges on this. We're going to distress the edges on this one. And then I am going to use gorgeous grape ink, and I'm going to just ink the edges of these. Okay, so I'm going to put that aside for the moment. I'm going to do that off camera. Finish distressing the edges and ink that, because you don't need to see that. Then I wanted a nice sentiment here, place to put a sentiment. And I wanted something a little decorative, so I got out my pretty label punch. That's a Stampin' Up product, and I'm going to cut out from my pieces that I have left of this paper, and I'm going to use just the parts. I'm not going to use the parts where it's leafy. I'm just going to use the empty parts here, and punch a nice little label out there. That also is going to get inked around the edges. So I'll put that there with my ink pad. I'm keeping all these bits because these leaves are so pretty. And then also, I wanted some lace. I have to have some lace. So I went through my dies, and I remembered in my Cut Matte Create and the 2B set, they're cute little corner lacy dies. So I'm going to use those. I'm going to cut 2 of these out. One for the top part, and then one for the bottom. Again, from my leftover bits of the paper that don't have leaves on it. Let's see, will it fit on this piece? Let me see. Oh, it will. How wonderful is that? So I'm going to cut 2 of these out also and ink the edges on those. And boy, I have a lot of work to do, don't I? I'm going to do all that, and then I'll come back, because you don't need to have to watch all that. And what else do I want to go over? Oh, not yet. We'll get to it. Okay, so I'll be... Okay, everything's inked up and distressed, or distressed and inked up. Now, this would be the time, if you know what sentiment you're going to put, stamp that on your little label here. But again, I don't know what I'm going to use this card for, so I'm going to leave it blank. So let's put these pieces down. Oh, this is coming along so pretty. Using my Tombow. And I'm going to put this on the front part of my inside card. I always think of these as double cards, because it's got, that could be a card by itself, this part here, or this could be a card all by itself also. So keep that in mind. Okay. Now we'll center this bit here. Let's see, how do I want that? I think like this. I'll put it down like that. And then it's going to go right there. I'm going to flip these little edges. I'm going to flip these edges up just a little bit. Get a little bit more of a shabby chic look. Okay, there you go. Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you. This is nice heavy cardstock. But if you're using a cardstock that's not this heavy, that's rather light, you probably want to tear your pieces instead of distressing them like I did. But this is just lovely cardstock, I have to say. Now I'm going to, where can I put this? Let's see. Somewhere off to the side here. I'm going to put myself a little puddle of my Dries Clear glue. I don't want to use my my Tombow because that dries sticky. Remember that. There's different glues. There's different uses for the glues. My two go-to glues are the Dries Clear or the Tombow. And I'm going to sponge that glue on the back of this one little lacy bit. I'm going to have that go right up here and try to make it even. Let's see. There we go. That looks pretty good. So there's one. Oh, I need a little bit more glue down here. Put that. Always put your little pin back. If you have one of these little things or any kind of glue, always cap it. Don't leave it sit open. You're going to find out you have a clogged schnozzle next time you go to use it. Okay, and we'll do the same with this little bit. And when I'm dabbing this glue, and I'm trying not to let my little die cut move around. So there we go, and we'll just going to overlap that a little bit in the center here. So that makes a nice little frame for our label. And you could stop here if you want, but I just couldn't stop myself. So what I did, I added some flowers. Now I was in a hurry to get this done, so and we're working on a rather large garden in our front yard, so my hands don't feel too wonderful, and I want to get the card done, so I'm using pre-made flowers. These are cream colored asters, and they're from Scrap Flowers. It's scrap-flowers.com, and they're pretty reasonably priced. And I want a little color on. I use the cream because it just goes with the card. Now if you want to, you can just to add a little color to them, you can just take your ink pad like so and just dab the ends. You see, just dab the tips in the gorgeous Grape ink. And that is what I did. If you want a little bit more control, you can use your Stampin' Blends marker. And this is the gorgeous Grape. This is the dark. Oh wait, no, it's the dark Highland Heather. Huh. How about that? Pen. And you can just dab that on with the marker. But like I said, I just went for it. I just went and dabbed away on my ink pad with them just to get some color on the tips. So there we go. We have those flowers, and I want some leaves, of course. So I have some pieces left here of scrap, and I use this punch. It's flowers and leaves. This is the EK Tools. If you don't have it, it's just a simple matter of draw out a leaf on a piece of scrap cardstock and trace around it, cut them out. There's only 4 leaves. It won't kill you. But I have the punch, so I'm going to use the punch. And just from the parts that have no special design on them, I'm going to punch my 4 leaves. And one more. One more leaf. There we go. That always scares me a little bit when they jump out like that. Now where did that leaf go? It jumped somewhere. I'm just going to cut another leaf rather than try to find it. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I have my 4 leaves. So I'm going to have 2 that are this color, and I'm going to have 2 that are this color. But these, I am going to take my little sponge dauber, and all around the edge, I'm going to do this real quickly. They're not that big. And we're going to add some of that beautiful, gorgeous grape to these leaves. You see? I went in quite a ways on these. I didn't just do the edge. I think I was going off camera there for a bit. But here we go. So, there. Those are almost ready. And what I did, I just took them and folded them right down the middle, just to shape them a little bit. Now the 2 that I'm going to use purple side, of course you want to fold those so that the purple side is going to face up. Okay, one more to go. My other beigey one. Okay, and then I just pinched the tips and twisted them a little bit, just to give them a little something extra there. Okay, and then those will go down. I'm gonna put some of my repositionable tape on the back of the label and put it down where I think I want it. I'm gonna want it here a little bit high on the lacy parts. And now I can work around that to place my flowers. So I'm going to move that up just a little bit more so I don't accidentally glue these in. And with a pair of not so wonderful scissors, I'm going to trim off these wires on the flowers. Trimming off the wires. And we'll position them on our card. I'm going to use the Designer's Dryest Clear Glue for that. This sets up pretty quickly. So let's see, like one right there. Come on, little flower. I'm going to open these up a little bit. There we go. And another one right here. And I'll open this one up a little bit more too. Alright, I'll put that one there. So they make a nice little arch there. And then we'll add our leaves. Okay, there's one leaf. And we're going to put one of each of the colors on each side. I'm just putting a little glue on the end of the leaf here. And tucking it underneath the flowers. We want it to be fairly symmetrical too, so. Okay. So there we go. We have our our leaves on there. And then I can attach this to my card. So, where'd my Tombow go? I'd rather use that. I'll put my Tombow on. And put that inside the card here. Try to get it right in the middle. And I'm going to stand this up so that it doesn't glue on too far down and interfere with folding up. Okay, so there we go. And this would be lovely as it is, but I want a little something here to hold this card down. So I got a hole punch out. This is another thing from EK Tools, but a lot of people make these punches. It's a 1-inch punch. And let's see, what have I got in my scraps here? Here we go. There's a nice little piece. Look at that. I wanted something really pretty for my little hold down bit here. And I'll punch that out. And hold my card down like this. And I'm going to put that right here. And I want just like the top 1/4 inch of it to overlap that. I don't want it way up because then it's going to be difficult. And maybe even a little less than 1/4 of an inch there. And how do I want it positioned? Maybe with the feathery things facing up and the leaf down. Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to use my designer's Dries Clear Glue on this. And just on the bottom, you see? Just on the bottom here. I'm going to do that. Bring that down a little bit. There we go. And then it needed something. So I looked around in my jewels and gems and things, and I had some nice, fairly large rhinestones. I thought, that would be nice, but I'm not crazy about the silver. So I used my Stampin' Blends marker and colored it in. So I made myself a nice little lavender color, or a gorgeous, no, it's Highland Heather. It's Highland Heather, not Gorgeous Grape. Gemstone. I'm going to place that on my card. Let's see, I don't know where my pokey tool is. I just grabbed whatever I could find fast. Okay, let me take the card out of there. And I'm going to center this right on that little thing. There. And then I thought, it needs even a little more than that. Now I could put glitter on there, but then I thought, if you're an avid YouTube watcher like I am, you've probably seen people use these LA Color. It's eyeshadow in a little bottle like this, and they sell them at the Dollar Trees. So I'm going to use some of that. And what glue should I use? I think I'll use my tacky glue for this, because it's... And I'm going to put a little puddle of the tacky glue out. And I'll need a brush too. Oh, let's see, there's a brush. There's a brush I'm not real fond of. And I'm going to tap out some of this eyeshadow powder there. I'll mix that up with my brush with the tacky glue. You could use Dries Clear. Don't use Tombow though, because remember that it dries sticky. And I'm just gonna use my brush. I'm gonna put that all on the tips of my flowers, and they'll be nice and sparkly when that glue dries. Not as sparkly as glitter would be, but it does make a nice little shine on it. And you know what? I'm gonna put a little bit on my leaves too. I'm gonna brush a little on my leaves. Be careful not to get it on my paper underneath there. Just a little bit. Oop, that got a little bit much. There we go. Okay, so there. Now our card is complete, and I can move my little label down where I'm going to have it positioned now. So if you've liked this video, then be sure to hit the like button down below. If you want to see more videos that I've made, then hit the subscribe button. If there are any Stampin' Up! Products that you'd like to purchase that I've used today, or any other day for that matter, I'd be thrilled if you used me as your demonstrator. And you can do that through either my Facebook page or my blog. And if you have any questions or comments, then I do pride myself on getting back to people fairly quickly on those. So you can leave a question or comment down below. And y'all take care, stay safe, and happy stampin'.